Okay, good morning. New lesson today, but it kind of goes through the exact same stuff that we've been doing. So we're still going to prove that triangles are congruent by side, 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 angle, side, angle, angle, side, and HL. But we're adding something to it. It's called Cpctc. So you guys have a test next Wednesday. So we will be here all next week, but the week after is virtual Monday. Okay. All right, test next Wednesday. We're going to prove triangles congruent with Cpctc. So I'll explain to you what that means. So first, if I'm looking at these two triangles, why would those triangles be congruent?
SAS.
SAS, side, angle, side. Side, angle, side. You guys agree with that?
Yeah.
Let me try to write a congruent statement. So I can say triangle. Let's start with C, go to A, and then go to B. C, A, B would be congruent to triangle. So notice I went over the side with two slashes first, right?
QRS.
Good. Q, R, S. So those corresponding parts match up perfectly. So do you guys remember how I could say, okay, well, if these triangles are congruent, wouldn't angle C be congruent to angle Q?
Yeah.
And angle A congruent to angle R, and B congruent to S, and so on. Okay, so since these triangles are congruent by side, angle, side, even though angle C is not marked congruent to angle Q, they would be congruent, right? Because those triangles are congruent. So I see that A is marked congruent to R, but C is not marked, but I could go ahead and assume that angle C is congruent to angle Q because those triangles are congruent. So that's where this new stuff comes in. So Cpctc stands for corresponding parts of congruent triangles are congruent. So if we have already proved that those triangles are congruent, I can say all the corresponding parts are congruent, even if they're not marked. So you're going to have some proofs. So I'm going to work some example proofs, and then we'll look at your assignment. So where do the proofs always start? What do they always start with?
Given.
Given. So I am given that MO equals RE, ME equals RO, given. What is it called when something equals itself? When OE equals itself. Do you remember what that one's called? Reflexive. There's only two options. It's either reflexive property or vertical angles. Okay, so now why are those triangles congruent? SSS, side, side, side. So now that I have proven those triangles are congruent, I ultimately want to prove that angle M equals angle R. Well, since I've proven those triangles are congruent, these corresponding parts would automatically be congruent. So now that the triangles are congruent, I can say other parts are congruent by Cpctc. So that's going to be your last reason on your proofs today. So I'm just adding a step. So let me do a couple more just to make sure you got it. So this starts with Kn equals Ln and Pn equals Mn. What's the reason? What are the proofs start with?
Given.
Given. And then you're right. So this triangle has vertical angles. So I can say KNP equals LNM. And those are called vertical angles. Now, why are those triangles congruent? Side, angle, side. And then, since I know the triangles are congruent, I can say other parts of those triangles are congruent by
Cpctc.
Good. Cpctc. Yes. That's the only thing we're adding. Did you do Cpctc and the on Edgenuity?
Yeah, like 2 months ago.
You did, okay. I told you we had to start because we had to review algebra first because we missed the last part. So.
Yeah, but they also went at an insanely fast pace,
Yeah.
and it was hard
Well,
to...
now you're getting review, so
Yeah.
that's good. Okay, so where are we start? What do we start with on this proof? This last example.
Given.
Given. And I'm going to go ahead and mark that angle just so that I can see why the triangles are congruent. So it's angle SPT. SPT would be congruent to OPT.
OPD.
Okay, why is PT equal to itself?
Reflexive.
Reflexive. Now, why are the triangles congruent?
SAS.
Side angle side. And then since the triangles are congruent, I can say other parts of the triangle is congruent by.
Cpctc.
That's just so fun.
Awkward.
All right. So, what did the buffalo say to his son before he left for college?
My son.
The image don't load to
Jake,
me.
you're funny.
Oh, it didn't.
Jake, you're funny.
I knew that one without looking at
Jake,
it.
What do you call an alligator in a vest?
Investigate.
An investigator.
Okay, I knew the bison one before.
Lord.
I didn't know if she had the answer up there.
Okay, so did you guys get the assignment pulled up? Is it pulled up? Okay, so the first several problems are proofs. So remember, what do the proofs always start with?
Given.
Given. Notice on number 1, there's 2 givens, but it's separated into 2. So do you see that the first 2 are given?
Oh.
So angle QPS is equal to RSP, that's a given. And then Q is congruent to R, that's also given. So the first 2 will actually be given. And then Y is PS congruent to itself. Reflexive. So if I mark that up here, why are those triangles congruent? Be careful. What do you think?
Rachel.
No.
No, it's
Look at these triangles.
Side,
I
side,
can't really state
Or
it.
angle, side.
Angle, angle, side. Good. It's angle, angle, side, not angle, side, angle. To be angle, side, angle, that side mark would have to be in between the 2 angles. So it's angle, angle, side.
Can it be side angle angle?
Yes, it can. I hope I have it written that way. I don't know. Angle, angle. Just put AAS and I can check it later. And then ultimately we can say other parts are congruent by Cpctc. So that's how it's going to end on all of these proofs today. Okay, now the next one's a little bit different because you're putting all the reasons in order. So I already put the 2 givens up there. So the givens are up there. What do you think the very last one is going to have to be?
CPC.
Yeah, so that would be letter A. So you're just going to put an A on the 6th one. So so you know it has to end with Cpctc, right? Okay. So I know this was given, this is given, and then the last one is Cpctc. Okay. Now I've told you guys before, anytime there's a word in a proof, the next line is always definition of that word. So do you see the word bisects? Which one is talking about definition?
D.
D, so this one would be D. And then why does BD equal BD?
C.
C, reflexive. And then that just leaves one letter left, which would be
F.
F. Okay, good. Okay, hopefully you guys can do the other proofs. There's drop down to pick. Remember, never, ever, ever pick prove as an answer.
Yeah.
What's your last reason going to be on today's anyway?
CPC.
Okay, good.
I said it right.
Okay, so you've got some proofs. You have some problems where you're going to tell me why they're congruent, and you have to write the congruent statement. Make sure you get the order of the letters correct. Make sure you match. Then there's some review problems. What do all the angles in a triangle add up to?
180.
Look for your linear pairs. These would be a linear pair, so they would add to 180. Look for your vertical angles if there's vertical angles. Guess not. Okay, I don't think it's going to take too long today. I think you guys are going to finish fairly quickly. If you have questions, let me know. I'm sure I have it where you can take it more than once, so if you want to take it and get a perfect score to start off the year with a perfect, or start off the semester with a good grade, you can. So that's it. Let me know if you have any questions.
We have this.
Okay.